Welcome to the Dhanraj Sir Method, Living the Subject. Your potential is limitless with the right mentor.
All right, today we're going on a bit of a journey, not just across the country, but right through its circulatory system. We're talking about the huge, complex, and totally vital road network of India. So let's get right into it and try to understand this incredible system. To try and wrap your head around the sheer scale of what we're dealing with, just look at that number. India's road network stretches for about 4.7 million kilometers. That is, wow, that's long enough to go to the moon and back more than 6 times. And yeah, that colossal length means India is in a pretty exclusive club. We're talking about the second longest road network on the entire planet. It's this incredible piece of infrastructure that really holds the whole country together. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the scale of the network. Then we'll look at the good and the bad. After that, we'll break down all the different types of roads, put a spotlight on some truly massive projects, and finally, figure out who's actually in charge of it all. Okay, let's start with the big picture. This massive web of roads, some paved, some not, is so much more than just asphalt and dirt. It really is the lifeline that connects over 1 billion people. By linking up all the rural villages to the big urban centers, these roads are one of the main reasons for agricultural prosperity across the nation. But, and this is a big but, here's a huge challenge. Even with a network this big, about 40% of India's villages still don't have access to all-weather roads. Now what that means is, during the heavy monsoon season, entire communities can just be completely cut off from markets, schools, you name it. And that really brings us to the core tension of India's road system, It's a story of these amazing benefits on one hand, but then these really persistent problems on the other. So let's take a look at both sides of the coin. So on the plus side, roads are a clear winner in a lot of ways. For one, they're way cheaper to build than railway lines. Plus, you can build them almost anywhere, even in really rugged, mountainous areas where you could never lay a train track. But the real magic? It's that door-to-door service. Roads connect every last village, which means farmers can get perishable goods like fruits and veggies to the market super fast. But then, of course, you've got the other side of it. Poorly maintained roads, which cause a ton of wear and tear on vehicles. A lot of roads just weren't built for the amount of traffic they have now, so you get endless traffic jams. And then you add in all the delays from checkposts and toll booths, and you've got a system that's often just struggling under its own weight. So how in the world is this massive network even organized? Well, not all roads are created equal. India actually has a pretty clear hierarchy, with different kinds of roads designed for very different jobs. Let's break it down. Right at the very top, you have the national highways. Think of these as the main arteries of the country. They're built and looked after by the central government, and they're designed to connect all the major cities. They really are the backbone of the entire system. Okay, one level down from that, you've got the state highways. These are managed by the individual state governments. Their job is basically to connect everything else, districts' headquarters, important towns, tourist spots, to those big national highways. They kind of feed traffic into that main arterial network. Then you have district roads. Now these are the real workhorses for local business. They connect the places where things are made, like farms and factories, with the local markets. They also link up smaller towns and rural areas to the main district headquarters. Okay, get ready for a pretty mind-blowing fact. Out of that entire 4.7 million kilometer network, what percentage do you think is made up of the smallest, most local roads? The answer is a whopping 80%. Yup, 80% is made up of rural roads. These are the vital links that provide that crucial last-mile connection for countless villages. These are the actual paths that let a farmer's produce start its journey from a tiny farm to a big city market. Honestly, without them, the whole system just wouldn't work. Now, with a network this huge, there are always some super ambitious plans to modernize it. So let's zoom in on a couple of the mega projects designed to bring India's highways into the 21st century. And you can't talk about mega projects without talking about the Golden Quadrilateral. This thing was an absolute game changer. The vision was a high-speed highway connecting the 4 great metropolitan corners of the country. And you can see why it's called a quadrilateral on the map. It links Delhi up in the north, over to Mumbai in the west, down to Chennai in the south, and then all the way back up to Kolkata in the east. It was just a monumental effort to connect the nerve centers of the entire Indian economy. And the economic benefits? They'd been huge. It's not just about connecting the big cities. It's about linking them to major ports, which supercharges the trucking industry. It sparked industrial growth in smaller towns all along its route, and it makes it way easier for farmers to get their produce to international markets. But the ambition did not stop there. The North-South and East-West Corridors project is even bigger. The goal here is to create high-speed expressways connecting the absolute farthest points of the country, from Srinagar way up in the Himalayas down to Kanyakumari at the southern tip, and from Porbandar on the west coast all the way over to Silchar in the east. Now, we've been using the words highway and expressway a lot, but what's the actual difference between them? Well, it really all boils down to one word: control. A regular highway can have tons of smaller roads merging or crossing it anywhere. But an expressway has controlled access with very few entry and exit ramps, which is what allows for that safe, high-speed, non-stop travel. So finally, with all these different kinds of roads, who is actually in charge of building them and keeping them in good shape? The responsibility is actually laid out pretty neatly. The really big projects, so the national highways and expressways, those are managed by a central body called the National Highways Authority of India, or NHAI. State highways? They're handled by each state's public works department. District roads fall to the Zilla Parishad, which is the district council, and those vital rural roads are managed right at the village level by gram panchayats. Oh, and one more, the strategic roads right near the borders are built and maintained by the Border Road Organization. So, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've gone from the incredible scale of India's road network to its everyday challenges, from the local village path all the way to the Continental Expressway. We've seen how this network is the foundation for so much of the country's economic life. But all of this leads to one final, really crucial question for the future. As India's economy continues to grow, can its roads keep up?